Hello and welcome to the tutorial on how to use the perspective grid in Adobe Illustrator to create a cool looking dice, just like this one that I've done. Now before you watch this tutorial, you are going to need to watch the tutorial on how to use the perspective grid to create a basic 3D box. Once you're here, you're ready to go. All right, let's start by making these faces different gray values to make it look like there's a light source coming from over here. So instead of blue, I'm going to go here and I'm going to select a darkish medium gray, not too dark. And I'll go a couple lighter, and for the top one, I think I'll choose this light gray. Okay, so it'll look like this. Ooh, it's already looking so dimensional. That light source from the top really helps this become a more convincing 3D object. Next, I'd like to go to my shape tool, and I'm going to create an ellipse, a black ellipse. I need to select black. This is going to end up being the dot, but I want to show you that if I put this dot right on the box, it just doesn't look quite right. It's not convincing. And that's because even circles need to be in perspective. In order to make that circular shape in perspective, let's click Ctrl-Shift-I to bring up the grid. All right, now that I've got that up and visible, when I select my ellipse, I'm going to click and drag vertically. Oh, what happened? Oh no, something is wrong, and I happen to know that what's wrong is that I have the horizontal grid selected. That's not good. Let's delete that and try again. I'd like to make my circle on this face, so we need to have left grid selected. And hold, there we go. Hold shift so that it's a perfect circle, in perspective that is. When you let go, oh my gosh, it's so much better. Try and center it as best you can, and there's your first dice dot. I'd like to put 2 dots over here. I don't think that that's necessarily accurate for a real dice. But to do that, I'm going to select my ellipse tool, select right grid, so that when I click and drag, it's in perspective with this right vanishing point over here. Now I'd like my second circle to be exactly the same size as this, so I'm going to copy and paste and move it right up here. 2s are usually diagonal from one another. Now if we wanted to get really technical, we could zoom in. Technically, because this dot is farther away from us than this dot, it should be a little smaller. So I'm going to make the tiniest little change, hold shift, and little details like that really help it look more convincing. Okay, we have one more side to put dots on, so I'm going to now be ready to select that. Oh, it won't let me select it until I have ellipse tool selected. Here we go, horizontal grid. And what do you say? Let's do 4 dots up at the top. Like I said, I haven't researched dice at all, so I don't actually know if that's correct. I'm pretty sure it's not. But it makes for an easy first object with the perspective grid. Okay, there's 1 of 4. I'm going to copy and paste. Put it right in the other corner, and I'm going to paste 1 more. Put it off on this corner, paste 1 more, and off to the last corner it goes. Once again, these are all the same size, and if we're going to get nitpicky and technical, which of course we're going to do because we're artists, this dot should be the smallest because it is the farthest away from the viewer. So I'm just going to make a tiny change there, reduce it in size. And I think that looks pretty nice. What do you think? Okay, let's click on Perspective Grid tool. Click on the little X to hide the grid. And voila, you've made a beautiful dice.